Get in spot, my spot.
Get in spot.
Get in spot.
Well, good morning, everybody. It's my pleasure to welcome you all. My name is Alexa Gilmour, and I am the NDP candidate for Parkdale High Park. So welcome. Yeah. Welcome to Parkdale High Park, and welcome to Park, Parkdale Activity Rec Center. Parkdale Activity Rec Center has been celebrating 45 years this year of supporting neighbors. They've got 7 supportive and affordable housing properties, founding member of the Parkdale Neighborhood Land Trust, and part of the future of providing affordable, supportive housing. And so we're really thrilled to be here, and it is my great pleasure to welcome the next Premier of Ontario, Marit Stiles. Welcome.
Amazing. Thank you so much. Thank you, Alexa. Well, folks, I am here today to talk about one of Doug Ford's greatest failures and what I'm going to do about it. You heard it already. I am here today at Park in Parkdale, where people experiencing homelessness, poverty, and food insecurity can get some support, be part of a community, and get some support to rebuild their lives. Park are on the front lines of our cost of living crisis, and I want to give a big shout out right now to Victor Willis for inviting us, allowing us to be here today, and for all of his leadership in the community. Thank you so much. They are one of the thousands of organizations that are fighting the rising tide of poverty and homelessness that has really overtaken communities here in Toronto, but in every city and every town in the province of Ontario. In fact, more than 80,000 Ontarians experienced homelessness in 2024. After 7 years of Doug Ford, encampments are the new normal. Seeing tents in parks is a stark reminder of how utterly Doug Ford has failed. He has failed on housing. He has failed on healthcare. He has failed on creating good jobs. And he has failed to make life affordable. But we can fix this. The Ontario NDP will end encampments by supporting people and helping them find a home to live in. How will we do it? We will support municipalities with their shelter and community housing costs, and we'll also undo the damage that was done when Liberals and Conservatives downloaded housing to cities. We'll get the government back to building supportive housing. That's a permanent home that has wraparound support like mental health care or addiction support and more. We'll help with paying rent to get people out of shelter and into homes quickly, and also free up more shelter space. And we're going to prevent homelessness by increasing social assistance and protecting renters to keep more people in their homes to begin with. I'll tell you, after 7 long years of Doug Ford, homelessness and encampments have grown and grown and grown. That's Doug Ford's record. That's his legacy. An Ontario that's harder to live in, where people fall into poverty and they just can't get out, where they have to live in a tent because there's nowhere else to go. We can change all that. We can end encampments in our province. And we're right now in an example of a place that works. Park provides supportive housing for people. Park gives people a chance to get off the street and rebuild their lives. And with an Ontario NDP government and a premier, me, that's on your side, we can do this everywhere. And our great Toronto team, I'm so happy to have you all here with me. Alexa Gilmour from Parkdale High Park. Jessica Bell from University Rosedale. Jill Andrew from Toronto St. Paul's, right behind me here. Chris Glover from Spadina, Fort York. And Faisal Hassan, who's going to represent York Southwestern again. Yes, Faisal? I want to thank our whole team for being here with me today. And with that, I am so happy to take your questions.
Please line up behind me on the mic.
Hi, Marit. Jack Allen from the Trillium.
Hey, Jack.
I'm wondering, since this announcement has to do with homelessness and addiction, given the Ford government's pivot to heart hubs, would you allow those heart hubs to do supervised consumption?
Look, we need more resources to deal with addiction in our communities. No question. Not less. This government canceled resources without replacing them. That is a failure of Doug Ford. We will not make that failure. We will fix things.
I didn't quite hear an answer to the question, but my follow-up is, we have polling that suggests that the majority of respondents to our poll see Doug Ford as the most trustworthy leader on tariffs. So I was wondering if you regret making that a central theme of your campaign so far.
No, I mean, look, here's the thing. First of all, I just want to say elections matter. Elections matter, campaigns matter, and many people I know are just tuning in right now, and we are feeling the momentum out there. But the threat of tariffs from Donald Trump is potentially devastating for Ontario. And Doug Ford has left Ontario weak and vulnerable by devastating so many parts of our public sector, our public system, healthcare, education, and leaving so many people without homes, frankly, in the province of Ontario. So we're here to deliver solutions to that so we can build a stronger and more tariff-proof Ontario.
Hi, Marit, with Le
Hi, Emily.
Just to follow up on my colleague's question, yes or no, would you allow safe consumption at heart hubs?
Well, as I said, I think we all have concerns, and what I'm hearing across communities is that when the government took away resources, they did not replace them. So what those resources look like is a different story, but we should be improving and adding resources, not taking them away at this point. People's lives are at stake, right? Our families, our neighbors are losing people every day. And while I don't mind the heart hub model, which I think community came out of community and is very important, I am concerned that the government is not putting enough resources and options in there for community members.
Okay, and I wanted to ask you about polls. They're giving Doug Ford's Conservatives a comfortable lead, placing Bonnie Crombie's Liberals in second and the NDP third. What's your take on this poll situation, and do you think that it would help the NDP's campaign if you guys could release numbers, like dollar figures, to your campaign promises?
Well, you know, like I said, I think elections matter, right? Ontarians did not want this election. This election is happening because Doug Ford wanted to pull one over on the people of Ontario. He thinks it could con them into giving him another majority. But as I'm out there traveling around the province, what I'm feeling is people are not willing to give him that chance. People are looking more carefully at the issues right now. And I think people are just starting to tune in to this election. I think we're starting to see some momentum out there in communities. I'm seeing people turn out in numbers I didn't expect, and in corners of this province where we weren't expecting that. I think people are really ready for a change. And you know, after 7 long years of Doug Ford, it's time for change. We cannot afford another 4 years of Doug Ford.
Hey, Marit, Barbara with QP Briefing. I just want to sort of follow up on all that. So you're saying you will upload shelter funding to the province and also support housing units and all that. Do you have an estimate of how much would all of that cost?
Well, I mean, first of all, that'll all come, but I will tell you this. We can't afford not to do this, right? Encampments are growing. They're growing in every community. Day by day, more people are losing their homes. We see cities like Toronto here that are stepping up to help people in emergency situations. We need to do the same thing. Doug Ford has failed the people of Ontario, and we're going to fix it.
Sorry, next question is about a different topic. So like yesterday, the PC's promised to upload the Ottawa LRT and make it part of Metrolinx, and the Liberals also have like a similar proposal. Would that be something you would consider doing yourself?
We're doing one better, right? We're uploading 50% of all the transit operating, which is going to have a huge impact and be hugely helpful to the people, to communities all across Ontario. But I'll tell you this, Doug Ford, you know, he says one thing during elections, but you know you can't trust him to deliver. He never has. He's made so many promises when it comes to transit, and yet lines never open, right? So we're going to deliver, we're going to fix it, and we're actually going to create some real relief for municipalities so that that transit riders, and many of us here are transit riders, will actually also feel some relief in the pocketbook.
Hi, good morning, Ms. Stiles.
Hi.
It's our understanding that Doug Ford today is going to announce that they're going to remove the tolls off of the eastern portion of the 407, something that you also have announced. The one thing that your announcement didn't come with is a costing. So could you tell us exactly what you would do and how much that would actually cost to take the tolls off of the eastern portion of the 407?
Well, here's what we're going to do. We're going to sit down with the company and we're going to actually get a deal. I don't know where Doug Ford's coming up with this. He's had 7 years to address this issue. Many of those years, we've been calling for him to do just this. So now in an election, he decides it's the time? I don't believe him. Do Ontarians believe him? I don't believe him. He had this opportunity for 7 years. We're going to start right away by removing the tolls on trucks. We're going to tell the company that's it, tolls off trucks right away. And then within the first 100 days, we're going to remove and negotiate with them to remove the tolls on the entire highway. That's our commitment. We're going to get it done. Conservatives and Liberals refuse to do it. The Ontario NDP is going to fix that problem, and we're going to put money in people's pockets, and we're going to make sure they get home to their loved ones faster.
Right, but before you put money into people's pockets, you have to take it from the Treasury, right? So how much would that cost to remove the tolls?
Well, that's a negotiating point, Colin. Why would I say right now, I'm going to pay this much? Why would I give that away to them? We're going to negotiate, and I'm going to negotiate tough with that company. They've had enough years, frankly, making money off the backs of people in Ontario, and that highway sits empty. I mean, a plane literally landed on that highway. So I think they've had long enough. I'm not going to give away what my negotiating position is, starting position is going to be. But we're going to dive in there, we're going to bargain hard, and we are going to get this done for the people of Ontario.
On another note, talking about the polling, we've noticed a pattern where your campaign has been going. It started off in some progressive conservative ridings, but now you seem to be consolidating back into NDP-held ridings. Are you worried at all that some of the ridings that the NDP currently has, you're at risk of losing any of those ridings? No. Why are you now campaigning back in ridings that you already hold?
No. You'll see tomorrow we're going to be going back on the road. We're going to be in conservative ridings. I'm very focused on frankly flipping blue ridings to orange. And other ridings too, where we think that we have a greater opportunity, where we've held those ridings recently, we're going to be going after them. But look, we're here in Parkdale because we wanted to showcase an example of folks that are doing it right. And I think this is exactly the kind of thing that we want to see in every community across Ontario. So solutions is what I'm focused on. Doug Ford has failed Ontarians. It is the encampments that exist in every community in this province that I see every day are his legacy, and we're going to fix that.
Hi, Marit. Lorenda with CBC.
Hi, Lorenda.
Another change that we saw is, I believe it was yesterday, your party put out a release attacking the Liberals, not the PCs, which we had seen before. Are you now fighting that progressive primary as they talk?
You know, I always look at it like this. We're in an election campaign. So we're not going to let anyone get away with things that we don't think are going to help Ontario. So we're going to keep coming out with information where it's required to make sure that it's clear that we are the best alternative for Ontarians. And I've said it before. I said it in my opening statement of the election. You know, I don't think that the current Liberal Party leader in Ontario shares the same values that a lot of people who have voted Liberal before share. I think we represent the best alternative, and we have the best shot of defeating this government. I'm not going to pull any punches in this election, right? Ontarians cannot afford another 4 years of Doug Ford and his legacy. People are dying in our streets. People are ending up homeless. We're here today to talk about how we're going to actually solve that problem for Ontario.
Usually we think of NDP as union support is kind of your bread and butter.
Yep.
We have seen in the last election, we saw them, the PCs, picking up union endorsements. We're seeing more come towards the PCs this time. Why aren't you able to get those union endorsements?
Oh, we have lots of union endorsements, and we'll have more and more coming out. I mean, I think the thing is that nobody's surprised when we get union endorsements, because guess what? We are the party of labor. We are the party that is there every time you're on a picket line. We are the party that has brought in and will continue to fight for the strongest labor legislation in the country. So I don't think that, you know, I think it may be surprising to see Doug out there shaking the hands of working people, because that's not who he is. And he has yet to ever bring forward legislation that really helped unionized workers, working people in this province. People know who we are and who we stand for. And I think you're going to continue to see that. We also, by the way, do have, well, recently, and you'll see more of this, but we have a blanket endorsement from the United Steelworkers, one of the biggest private sector unions in the world. And I'm very proud of the work that we've done together with all unions. And we're going to continue to do that, you know, not just during the campaign, but every single day, because that's who we are.
And then with some other unions, we're seeing they're not making an endorsement. Basically, they're doing sort of an anti-Doug Ford campaign. Is that a concern at all for you?
You know, what I'm seeing from people out there, when I go out into our communities, I am seeing working people show up to help us and to support our campaigns. They know that we were the ones that stood with them when Doug Ford and his Conservatives came after them in the courts, nurses, education workers, to suppress their wages. And we will continue to be there every time, no matter what. And it's not going to just be during a campaign. It's going to be all the time. So I feel very strongly and very confident that we are continue to be the voice for working people. People know who we are. New Democrats, we show up.
Bonjour, Camille de Radio-Canada.
Bonjour.
J'ai aussi une question en français sur les syndicats.
Okay.
On voit que M. Ford a reçu l'appui de plusieurs syndicats. Historiquement, le NPD, comme vous dites, est le Parti des travailleurs. Qu'est-ce que vous pensez de cette dynamique?
Alors, M. Ford, il n'est pas l'ami des syndicats ou les gens, les travailleurs et travailleuses d'Ontario. Je sais qu'il le fait. Il essaie d'être l'ami des travailleurs durant une élection, mais ça, c'est le seul temps qu'il le fait. Et nous sommes les néo-démocrates, nous sommes la partie des travailleurs et travailleuses d'Ontario, et je suis très fière de ça, oui.
Mais est-ce que ça compte symboliquement de recevoir l'appui officiel des syndicats?
Non, c'était quelques syndicats, quelques locaux, c'est une chose, mais nous avons les travailleurs avec nous toutes les journées, dans tous nos circonscriptions dans la province. Ils sont là et nous, comme néo-démocrates, nous sommes là toujours, on the picket lines, avec les travailleurs, toujours. Ouais.
Et peut-être juste pour... ça fait une semaine qu'on est en campagne. Est-ce que vous voyez un intérêt des électeurs? Est-ce que les gens savent qu'on est en élection?
Sorry. Oh, OK. Oui, un peu. C'est vraiment c'est un peu une barrière, oui, vraiment. Mais je pense que OK, I don't know how to say this in French. Elections matter. Les élections comptent. Alors, les élections comptent. Et dans ce moment, beaucoup de personnes ils sont juste waking up qu'il y a une élection. Alors, je pense que dans les jours prochains, beaucoup d'Ontariens je ne sais pas, oh my gosh, I'm losing my words here. Qu'est-ce que tu dis ça, wake up? Se réveiller. Se réveiller, OK. Alors, je pense que beaucoup d'Ontariens et d'Ontariennes vont se réveiller maintenant, qu'il y a une élection, que c'est important et qu'on ne peut pas compter sur M. Ford.
Last question.
It's the vocabulary. I'm getting there. I just got to get the vocabulary. Okay. Okay, merci.
Hi, Marit.
Hi.
Sharif Hassan from the Canadian Press.
Yes.
My first question for you is that the government the province is already giving 75 million to cities to create emergency shelter spaces and affordable housing units. Mm-hmm. How much more are you planning to propose to give them?
Yeah, I mean, look, Doug Ford came in the last minute before an election to say he was going to help out a little bit. But what I see happening is people moving from one encampment to another encampment, from one park to another park, because there is not housing there. We are talking about a significant and I think groundbreaking announcement and opportunity to actually commit to building the housing that people need right now, and to actually make sure they have somewhere to go. Because the answer to the crisis is housing. right? It is housing first. And we're going to do more. We're going to be talking in the next few days about some of our other parts of our housing platform. But we are looking at solving this problem. And we are not going to simply put forward one little bit of money and say that's it and it's up to the cities to figure it out. We are going to be a true partner with municipalities to get this done.
The follow-up question I have for you is, Marit, that I have seen that the announcements that you're making, there's no dollar figures attached to the announcement that you have made, at least in the past. At least this is the second one. This is the second presser that I am covering. So I was wondering if you have at least an estimate of like how much, for example, the announcement that you made today would cost, or are all those details still being worked out?
Well, we've already given, when we announced our Homes Ontario plan, we also already attached the price costing to that, so we know that is out there. But look, I want to be very clear. You know, we are making this announcement today, and we are talking about building the supportive housing that Ontarians need so that we can end encampments. We have to fix this problem. People in Ontario, it's not an if, it's not a but, it's not a, it's now, it's when. We cannot handle this for one more day. And I will say also, we cannot afford to have one more person lose their home in the province of Ontario. So we're going to provide real solutions. Doug Ford, he's failed Ontarians. He's failed them. The crisis that we see in our communities right now is on his shoulders. And we are going to fix that. And I, as the Premier of Ontario, with this amazing team, we are going to fix this problem for the people of Ontario, because we cannot afford one more person losing their home, and one death in this province from homelessness is too many. Thank you.
Thank you.
Can I just add one more little quick thing? I just really believe that, you know, I see out there in our communities every day, neighbors trying to help neighbors. Cities trying to find solutions. What is missing over and over again is the provincial government. It is time that provincial governments step forward, and we're not going to put up with, and we're not going to be bought off as Ontarians, or conned by these little announcements at the last minute, the middle of a campaign or right before a campaign. We're going to get this done, we're going to fix it, and we're going to end encampments in the province of Ontario. Thank you so much, everybody. Yeah, all right, thank you.